Chris here with Chris Fowler Outdoors. Today's video will cover tree stand placement. The top 5 things you need to consider before placing your tree stand. Stay tuned to see what they are and also how to double your odds on killing a buck this year. Chris with Chris Fowler Outdoors, please consider subscribing. Chris here with Chris Fowler Outdoors. The number one, and you can make it all 5, is wind. You've got to have your stand in a location where your scent is not going to carry to where the deer are coming to you. It is an absolute. There is no exceptions. There's no way around this. I understand I'm a big fan of the ozonics as well. I use it. But you want to do your very best to get your wind in a different direction than what the deer are coming. So the number one thing to do when you're looking for your stand location, you try to pick the way the deer are coming. You go, if it's a new area or a new region you're not familiar with, go to Weather Channel or one of these places and try to get the average wind direction for the time that you expect to see deer in this area. You know, if you've hunted the property for years, you'll know summer where we hunt. Right now it's 1 week before opening day. So what we have early bow season is light and variable. There is no direction. It's terrible. It is just awful. And you have the mother with the young fawns coming out, and it's just very hard to beat. Without ozonics, couldn't do it. But as the rut approaches and we get out of the summer feeding pattern, most of my winds are going to be northwest, northeast, and out of the north. So I try to set my stands up using that wind direction. But let me tell you, the most easiest way to pick a stand here in Georgia where I live, find the tree with the most poison oak on it and poison ivy, and that's where you're going to want to be. That'll be your perfect shot closest to the deer, and it never fails. It works out that way. But I want to talk to you about something else. Wind direction is number one, item one. Item number 2, the deer, their line of sight as they're coming to your stand. It is better to make sure that that line of sight isn't putting that deer looking at the elevation you are in the tree. So give you an example here. As the deer are coming over this rise, this stand is out in the open, and I've showed you up here in this pine tree. They would be spotting you. I mean, this is a no-brainer. This wouldn't work in heavily hunted areas, but let me tell you that they don't see me there. Why? I have a little field right over here behind me, and as they cross over that hill, they want to see what's in that field. The most important thing to them is looking in that field and seeing if there's deer out there or danger or whatever. And they look right past me. They walk right under the stand. This is a killing stand for me. One of my favorites right here. So keep that in mind. If the deer are coming up on a rise and you're above them in elevation and their line of sight is just carrying right to you, they're going to bust you. I don't care how much cover you use. They're going to see you moving. So think about that when you're picking your stand location. Number 2, line of sight for the deer. Get above that, get away from that, so that when they come up, they won't spot you. All right, scent, line of sight. Number 3, one of the hard lessons I learned, I have a field over in the back, and I had a stand, great stand. I would see deer, see big deer, but they weren't in shooting range. They were 50, 60, 70 yards. And I hunted that stand a long time. I kept thinking, hey, they're going to come closer, they're going to come closer. And they never did. I started killing deer when I moved, built me a box and put it out in the middle of the field. So the number 3 is where you expect the deer to come. If you're comfortable at 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, whatever you are comfortable with shooting your bow, make sure absolutely that you're within the kill zone. Do not set a stand up outside that kill zone. Yeah, it's fun watching deer. I enjoy it too. But I like killing them. So set it up inside your kill zone. Well, what if it don't work? I say move locations. Pick a different holler, pick a different ridge, move on down closer to the bedding area, further away, whatever you're hunting, but get your stand in your kill zone. You want to be comfortable that you can put that buck on the ground when he comes by. All right, item number 4 today. I've got to talk about safety, and maybe it should have been first, but I'm 53 years old now. I am a whole lot less steadier than I was at 20 years old. Those of you that are my age, just be receptive to safety. My line of work, it's all about safety. We have safety meetings. We have, you name it. We have safety training. We have belts. We have safety job toolbox topics, all for safety. And you want to come home to your wife and kids and your grandkids. So let's think about safety this year. Have somebody come with you, help you hang the stands, get a certified harness, and do it the proper way. The days of 2 befores and a few nails, it just isn't worth it. Let's enjoy our hunts and come home. Fifth item, most important, multiple stand locations. If you get to hunt a property for several years, you're going to find there's some killing areas, great areas where you see big bucks consistently. Those you need multiple stands. I work construction, so when I get off, I go to church on Sunday. So it gives me Saturdays and any vacation days I can to hunt. That's it. That's what I've got. So let me encourage you, just because the wind's bad for one stand location, as I showed you up here, I had 4 stand locations in one good hunting area. Pretty much any day I could hunt that area no matter what the wind was. So I want you to consider realizing now I've hunted this place for 30-something years. Tell you some tragic news about my hunting property. It's been family owned since the 20s, and we come over here. We were going to put the iron clay pea patch in with a tensar fence. Had the fence in the back of the truck. Going to come over here and start the installation for sale sign. It was listed for 3 days. My property's sold. It's under contract. As soon as it closed, I'm out of here. Gone public. So we're going to hopefully have you some videos from the Oconee National Forest. Too late to get in a hunting club, really. But anyway, multiple stand locations. Consider it. If you've got a good spot, don't let the wind beat the wind by installing multiple stands in those killing spots. We thank you. Chris Fowler Outdoors. If you're not, please consider subscribing and comment below. What's your comment about somebody stealing your stand? What do you think about that? Boy, first thoughts, be mad about it. Boy, you'd like to do something, you know, you'd like to get that person back. Vengeance, I'm sure. But we went on and thought about this a little more, and you know, by the grace of God, that'd be me. I'd be out there stealing deer stands. And we're just going to pray for them and let the Lord have His way. Amen. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Chris Fowler.